right, welcome to a remixed version of question 5. I decided that, you'll see what I decided. I decided to mix it up a little bit, and it'll stay like this if I like it. Depends on how it goes. I guess we'll see. All right, let's get on with it. Now, some of the things I'm talking about today, I hate talking about, but I'm going to talk about them because I feel as if they're hurting another person, or I feel as if the misconception of it is hurting a lot of different other people. A lot of people close to me. So I'm gonna come out with the video, and I hate to communicate like this. You know what I mean? I don't wanna have to post a video to explain something. You know, I'd rather it just be a one-on-one communication, you know, eliminate the middleman, as other people would say, because that's the best type of communication, you know, person to person, like that. But I tried it and it didn't work, you know, people still out there mixing things up. They're putting a lot of words in my mouth, things that I didn't even say. So I feel like I had to do this video. I wouldn't care if they were just lies about me. I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't want people to lie about me. But at the same time, it's not worth my time. That's what I feel. So if they want to tell lies about me, go ahead. The people that know it's true, know it's true. The people that don't, they don't. And the people that think they do, well, they think they do. I couldn't care. Like, I really couldn't care. But it's because I feel like it's having an effect on somebody else's mental health. And mental health is serious. There's some mosquito in here. Oh. What up, boy? He's just going around waiting to bite me. He's just waiting for the perfect chance. I had to get him. I had to. Okay. Like I was saying, mental health is very serious to me. So I'm gonna clear them up this one time. All right? And then after this, I really don't want to talk about it ever again. At least not to people who are just gonna, they hear what I'm saying, but they're not listening. Like, it's in through one ear. I thought I just killed it. Like I was saying, in through one ear, out the other. And then they say what they want to say. But I'm tired of that. So to the people like that, I'm not going to be talking to them. But for the people who genuinely want to know more after this video, you know, just hit me up. You know, I'm not hiding anything. It's nobody's business. So I say it. Okay, all right. Let's go on with the first question. That's why I thought the title of this video was awesome. This one's called Big 5 Misconceptions. I know, it's not a big deal. All right, the first misconception about me is that I eat pork now. I don't eat pork because pork is a bad protein. You know what I mean? It's just, it's like, I just don't like pork, you know? I find myself a lot of times, you know, not even wanting to eat it because how fattening it is. You know what I mean? It's like one of those meats that, and it's a red meat too. So it like contributes to heart disease and cardiac, there you go. And it contributes to cardiac arrest as well as heart disease and a lot of other stuff because it's a dark meat. All right, the second one, I don't understand this one, but I guess I do. Like, at the same time I don't, but at the same time I do. The second misconception was that I guess people think I'm soft now. And this one, I'm not gonna sit here and then name everything that I did, you know, like, oh, this is my rep. You know, it's not gonna be one of those times. I guess I'm just gonna say, you won't know until you know. I'm not saying anything other than that because I don't care. You know what I mean? Because you can always tell the real from the fake. That's like one of my gifts, you know, being able to tell who's really gonna do something and then who's, you know, like scared out of their minds while they're talking. Like, just being able to read their body posture and then their eye contact is a really big indication to me, you know? I don't know. I guess that's just one of my things, being able to read people. But I couldn't care less if people think I'm soft now because you won't know until you know. So yeah, that's that. The third misconception is I turn my back on my culture. That one, I guess, it's not justified, but I guess it's warranted because I'm not really strong in the culture. But it doesn't mean I turn my back on it. It just means that, don't get me wrong, I don't hate my culture, but at the same time, there's certain practices in it that I don't deem important. At least not while I'm in America. You know, there's certain things that I'm just like, why we gotta do that? And, you know, like, it's America now, we in America. And I have no plans of going back to Africa and living there. I'll visit, and I want to visit, but I have no plans to go back in Africa and live there. So I don't see the point in doing a lot of the things in the culture, you know? And it's a word. It means to adapt to somebody. It's like to adapt to a new culture. Assimilation. There you go. I really believe in assimilation, and it's it's proven that you're gonna have to adapt to a new environment. So me not practicing everything in my culture has nothing to do with me turning my back on it. I just simply don't, you know. Okay, one thing that what I would say is the biggest that leads to this misconception, the biggest thing I would have to say is me not being fluent in my native language. You know what I mean? But to me, it feels like if I lose the language, I really wouldn't care. You know what I mean? Because if I lose the language, then I lose it. You feel me? If I lose the language, I lose it. If I lose the culture, you know, which that's probably never gonna happen because I'm gonna always remember it and it'll always be in my heart. But if I don't practice it, like if I stop practicing it, then I wouldn't care. Because from, you know, like generations from now, and you keep going up generations and you keep going up generations, you know what I mean? It's gonna just be one of those legends never die type of things, you know, like forever in my heart type of things. You know, generations from now, your my great grandkids they're not even gonna be like this. You know, they're gonna have a new culture generations and generations and generations from now. I have to adapt to a new culture. So why would I learn about a culture? Not learn about, I like learning about it, but why would I still practice certain parts of a culture that I don't necessarily need? I know people don't agree with this, and I don't care, because this video is not to be like, let me have your approval. It's just to clear up misconceptions. And that's one of the misconceptions. I feel like I'm taking it too far and trying to explain something that doesn't need explanation beyond a certain point. So all I'm gonna say is that I didn't forget my culture. No, I didn't turn my back on my culture, and I'll never forget it, which means more to me than, you know, wearing the clothes and the sandals and the language. You know what I mean? The language I would love to keep, but someone higher has different plans because I'm already losing it. You know, I don't care because English, I know English and I'm very well fluent in English. You know what I mean? But I definitely love to keep learning about it. So that's that. All right, fourth misconception. This is one of the things that I wanted to clear up that I won't be talking about ever again because I feel like it's definitely nobody else's business. So a lot of people don't know, but last year I converted from Islam to Christianity. Well, technically not even from Islam because I was never really Muslim, but that's a whole different story because literally I would have to go back years and not years, I would have to go back decades. I would have to go back decades and decades and decades into my life just to explain, to make people understand. I'm gonna try to shorten it. So people think I converted for marriage. It's actually been more than a year now since I converted happily. So people think I converted for marriage. I didn't. When I converted, what was it? Around the time, it was like, I remember, okay, I'm gonna explain all the stuff on the last question. I'm gonna explain the stuff on question 5. Let's keep this one nice and short. I didn't convert for marriage, did not convert for money. I didn't convert for anything besides the fact that I fell in love with the religion that I converted to. And I don't feel like saying the religion I converted to just yet. You know what I mean? Because it's nobody's business. If I feel like answering the religion I am in question 5, then I'll do it, you know, because it's question 5. All right. But yeah, I didn't convert for marriage. I'll explain it this one time. What happened was, it was last year when my interest in improving and getting a better life sparked. It was around, I remember I was actually feeling strong in my Muslim faith. I was feeling better, you know, for the first time in a while. I actually liked it, you know. I actually remember being at the mosque on Ramadan, and then, you know, you look around and you see like all your Muslim brothers and sisters. And it's like, wow, this is amazing. It was like one of the best feelings I ever had, right? And so that's why I was like, wow, you know, I love this. But deep in my heart, I always, that atheist part of me was still there. Because whenever somebody say something like, for example, right? I was at work. I forgot the girl's name. This was like what, early June, early May, April, around that time. She had said something about, she's Muslim too. She had said something about God. And then I was like, how do you know God is real? Why do bad things happen to good people? I was coming up with all these atheist questions, and then that's when I probably realized that, oh crap. I still don't fully believe, like I'm still part atheist, you know what I mean? So yeah, so that was that. And then you fast forward a couple months, I would say August, I met somebody who was a girl, but the misconception is that she basically manipulated me into converting, and that is not true. One bit. All they did was tell me how God changed their life. You know what I mean? They told me about their early life, and a lot of the stuff that they went through, I was like, wow, I couldn't ever imagine somebody going through something like that. And then they told me, like I found God and now I'm feeling better than I was, because they were telling me a whole lot of stuff. And I was just like, wow. And then now speaking to them, I would have never ever guessed that they went through all that, because they're so cool, calm, and collective and just so nice. I would have never ever guessed that they had went through stuff like that, did the stuff that they did. And so for them to be able to make a change like that, I was like, wow, I know I can do it. So I started to get more interested in changing my life. And the thing that people confuse was that I didn't decide to quit Islam and pursue their religion, because they were never like, oh, I'm this type of Christian, this and that, this and that. No, all they said was that God changed their life. You know what I mean? I didn't even know what type of Christian they were until I asked them, like, what type of Christian are you? And then they explained to me this and that, this and that. And then I decided to learn about the Nation of Islam. I wanted to go to Muhammad's mosque, and I actually did go to the mosque. I went up there a couple times, but this was last year, and I guess they were still kind of closed down because of COVID. So, or maybe I just came on the days they were closed. Regardless, higher power had something different in mind for me. So whenever I went there to ask my questions and learn more about the religion, they were closed, So that's one of the things that led me to study other religions. And at the time, before I even started getting into Christianity, I met the sweetest woman you could ever meet at Walmart. It was in a Walmart parking lot. And I remember because one of the Walmart associates had just got shot, and it was like a big release, a balloon release for them. And she didn't even work there, It was her sister that worked there, but she was like the sweetest lady you'll ever meet. And she came, and then she, out of everyone, she spotted me. She was like, hey, you look like you could really use this. And then she gave me her card, and then it was about Buddhism, And she was telling me about it. I wasn't attracted to it, but I was attracted to it, if you know what I mean. I was kind of like, but I was willing to look into it for her, because she was just the sweetest old lady. And I loved her sister, and I loved their other sister. Two of her older sisters worked there. I loved them both. She was the sweetest old lady I ever met, She gave me her case in point, and I was just like, I'll really try to look into it, for you, if anything. If I'm not interested in it, I'll do it for you. I believe I never did look into it that much, but I recall looking into it. This is taking way too long. Okay, let me end it. This is taking way too long. She gave me the card. I didn't take it seriously. I took it seriously, but I never got around to looking it up, because by the time I was already into Christianity. Long story short, I didn't convert for marriage, because when she let me know that God changed her life, I was trying to learn about Islam, but the mosques were already always closed. Higher power had a different power for me. Higher power had something else in mind for me. So you can't argue with that. You know what I mean? So that's that. Question 5. Now, I didn't even know this conception was out there, because I've cleared it up so many times. You know what I mean? I'm tired of I'm tired of saying it, but I'll say it in a video. So the next time somebody says this and that, which nobody should be talking about it when I'm not there, because you don't talk about somebody when they're not there, when they're not able to defend themselves. And you shouldn't be saying something that'll cause somebody to have to defend themselves. That ain't cool, and that's not nice. So let me go on to say that one of the biggest misconceptions people are having now is that I converted because of my father, which is not true. Definitely not true. You know what I mean? Definitely not true. There's people that I specifically told, no, it's not because of him, and they still think it's because of him. I have no idea why. That's why I don't like explaining stuff like this to other people. Some people are just gonna believe what they want to believe. Leave it at that. You don't have to let your mental health diminish because you're stressing yourself out explaining something that they don't want to hear. Some people want to hear what they want to hear only. Literally, when I converted, you wouldn't believe how many people were just calling me up, hitting me up day after day after day after day. And I would explain to them this and that, that and this. And they would just throw it out the window and then continue to say what they wanted to say to get me to come back. You know what I mean? It was crazy. Like, it was mind blowing. These were adults too. You know, mind you, these were adults, not other teenagers that were kind of like, you know, what you doing, bro? You know, come back. No, these were adults. And so, I'm sorry, I had to. That was a mosquito. I don't like that mosquito. So now I'm putting it in a video. Anytime somebody asks me or I hear something like that, I'm gonna send them the link, watch the video, you know what I mean? Stop lying. I didn't have the best relationship with my parents, but then again, whose parents are perfect? Whose parents are perfect? My parents weren't perfect, but that doesn't mean they led me to convert. Of course not. So no, my father didn't lead me to convert. I was always one of those kids that questioned everything. I didn't like the fact that I would have to just follow something so blindly. And I know a lot of you are gonna say, you know, and read it for yourself, this and that, but you gotta understand, like, I was young. I was like, what, in the first grade, asking questions like that? I was really one of those kids. I was really out there asking big time questions at a young age. I was just one of those kids. I didn't convert because of my father. And whoever started that really needs to stop lying and putting words in my mouth. Because I feel like it's somebody that I've already told them it's not because of him. I do understand why people would think that, but I have no hate in my heart for him. Literally, whatsoever. That's what I loved about converting, because when I was learning about the Nation of Islam, when I was learning about it on my own, like freshman year, when I was getting into Malcolm X and all that, I realized that it wasn't promoting hate and violence, but it was kind of justifying self-defense, basically. You know what I mean? And so it kind of always led me to fight back. But that's what I like about converting. Jesus says, turn the other cheek. If somebody hits you in this cheek, he said to turn and let them hit you on this cheek. He said, if somebody steals your jacket, give them, wait, ooh, I'm sorry, don't quote me on that. I think that's what he said. I gotta read it again, but I know it was along those lines. I believe he said, if somebody steals your coat, give them your shirt off your back. And then he said, if your enemy is thirsty, let him drink water. Jesus even sat down with the sinners. He sat down with the sinners and he ate with them. And they were making fun of him. You know what I mean? There was a woman. This is one of my favorite stories. My favorite stories when I first started reading, right? The first book I read was the book of John. This is my favorite story about Jesus. So there was a woman. She was caught in adultery. If y'all don't know what adultery is, it's a sexual, crap. It's a very mature act. It's a sexual act. I'm gonna have to, crap, I shouldn't be saying all this. I know there's kids watching this. Okay, if y'all don't know what adultery is, ask your parents. That's what I'm gonna say. Ask your parents what adultery is. So there was a woman, caught in adultery, and they brought her to Jesus. When you catch a woman in adultery during those times, you stoned her because that was in the laws of Moses, they claimed. And so they brought her to Jesus, and then they were like, Rabbi, what shall we do with her? They were basically trying to get him to admit that she had to be stoned. But what Jesus did was that he went down, he scribbled in the sand. Don't correct me if I'm wrong. Sand, rocks, I don't know exactly where they were geographically, but he scribbled on the terrain, let's say terrain. He scribbled on the terrain something. And then he looked up to them, and then he said, let he who was without sin cast the first stone. And then they all dropped their stones one by one and they left. Because, what does that prove? Forgiveness. They all sinned, yet they were trying to kill her for sinning. You know what I mean? Everybody sins. Converting just made me more forgiving. I love it. I've never been happier than I was since I converted. There's no reason to lie about it. I know a lot of people are gonna get their feelings hurt from this, but it's true. All I would say is just put your faith in your God. I know there's a lot of Muslims that want me to come back. Put your faith in your God. That's what I would say. Just put your faith in your God. If you truly did believe in God, then you would believe that everything happens for a reason. There's nothing that he can't do. And so you wouldn't even be stressed about it. You would just put your worries into God's hands, and then you would let him solve it for you. So that's what I'm just saying. Just put it into God's hands and just stop worrying about me and worry about your own life. You feel me? Because I don't really want to be explaining all this over and over again. Hence this video. I'm never explaining this again to somebody who's not going to listen. So if I feel like you're just asking me to kind of, you know, get a certain reaction out of me and prove your point, get your point across, man, I'll send you this link so fast. But yeah, I didn't convert because of my father. I didn't even have it in mind while I was converting. Maybe to forgive him, but not to convert him. And the craziest thing was that I got into Christianity when I was converting because of a little blue book that I found in my shoebox. I have no idea how that book got there. It's craziest thing ever. I have no idea how that book got there. It was the book of John. The book meant for the people who don't really know Jesus yet. It was the book meant for the disbelievers. You know what I mean? The people who don't believe in Jesus and who don't know Jesus yet and what he does. The book of John. A little version of it. It was called Living Water in my shoebox. I bought that shoebox. I remember before we even started moving, I bought that shoebox. One day when I told my parents I was at work at Walmart just to kind of get away, I bought that shoebox to one of my rooms in the new house because in my shoebox there was like my personal stuff. I kept like my chains and my gold watches and, you know, stuff that I cared about. So I have no idea how that book got in there. Literally, like I was the biggest hater to Christianity. I thought it was a white person's religion. So I'm still confused. I have no idea how that book got there, but it was there. You know, it was there. And then coincidentally, around that time that I was getting interested in bettering my life, I ran into the book. I read it and I loved it. You know what I mean? That's all I would say to the people who are confused about a lot of aspects of Christianity. Read the book of John, because you can read the Old Testament and then the New Testament. The Old Testament is in the Bible, but Christianity means to follow Jesus. So if you want to see what Christians follow, what Christians are supposed to do, read the New Testament. And I would specifically say read the book of John, because that's one of the best books that I've read out of the Bible. It was just amazing. I know a lot of people are probably watching like, ugh, what is he saying? I know, and I understand. I don't care, but I understand. I don't like talking like this unfiltered and stuff because somebody's always gonna get their feelings hurt. But I had to do it because just too many lies going around. I didn't convert because of my father. I didn't convert for marriage. I don't eat pork. I didn't turn my back on the culture. And as for me being soft, you won't know till you know. So that's all I'm gonna say. You know, I've been really busy with my music videos. Oh my goodness, because I started writing the scripts for my music videos recently. I love script writing, by the way. Oh my goodness, try it. Just try it as a hobby, as anything, just try it. I love script writing. So yeah, so I began script writing my music videos, and it went smooth because I was able to put everything faster together. I edited my latest music video, Miss Jackson, I edited it in like what? I believe it was an hour, less than an hour, literally, because I already knew where everything was supposed to go because I had it scripted out. I've been so busy with that. And now I got another music video coming up. So stay tuned. You feel me? This is Muhammad X, and this has been Question 5. No, crap. This is why I like shooting with my camera better. All right, this is Muhammad X. And this has been, it has not been Question 5. This has been Big 5 Misconceptions About My Life. Oh yeah! There we go.
Gotta let it go, the baby, cause it's time to shine. The world is yours and Lord knows you do your best. Hold your head up, little killer queen, you almost through the test. Some are lame and most of us the ones to blame. Some try our best, but in the end we all turn out the same. Just have hope and soon enough you'll find the one. And you'll know cause your heart will be pounding like a drum. I know you had it in the end, he turned to be decisive. Sick and tired losing hope, you had to get decisive. He, she, you always had to tell him life is full of struggle. Why the heck he always get inside it? Y'all got a baby, you would think he could've